isang maunlad na barangay sa munisipalidad ng Paranas, matatagpuan ang pamantasan ng Samar State University Paranas Campus na kung saan dito nagtuturo ang isang budhing guro na si Ginoong Aigie Gabane.
My name is Aigie Gabane and I am single. I have been teaching in Paranas campus since 2017. It's already 5 years now in service, and it's good. My first job is here in Paranas campus. I did not experience teaching in the DepEd. Although I volunteer teacher in Kasandig for about a month, I think, but in terms of a permanent job, I have my first job here in the university. How do I implement curriculum? Well, curriculum is, as defined, it's the totality of human experiences. It is not only about the prospectus, about the syllabus, but it also talks about the hidden curriculum. Are you familiar with the hidden curriculum? You know that. And what are those hidden curriculum? We have the interaction between the students and the interaction between the teacher, because if you are going to talk about it, we have a lot of learnings outside the classroom compared to the inside, no? And that's part still of the curriculum. Implementation is particularly number one. You have to follow the vision and mission of the university. That's the framework. Okay, what does the university wants its graduate to become? What are the competencies? Then we have to follow that one. And what's good in the university is because we have what we call academic freedom, and that's very helpful for us faculties to determine what are the appropriate steps to be taken care of. For example, in my subject in science, science is being learned best when students experiences it rather than explaining it in the classroom. Why not give them, number one is contextualization. Go down to the experiences of the students, and then from that you get the lesson. You derive your topic on that particular area so that they can relate about the topic you are explaining at hand. That's one. Another is you can have visualization, especially in science. Atoms, we cannot see atoms, but we have to discuss it. We cannot see chemicals. How does atoms interact with one another when combined? And we need to have visualization about that. They need to visualize how things occur, how things happen. All right, that could be one. Another thing is team building or teamwork. It is a must that teachers and other students, or in the academy or in the private sector, that we do not work alone. As the saying goes, that no man is an island. Therefore, that personality that we have to interact with other people, particularly how do we do in a teamwork, how do we perform in a group activity, it's very essential to the accomplishment or the success of your project. And it's very essential in the classroom to let them explore a teamwork or team learning. And another particularly is problem solving. Well, as I quote Einstein, education is not merely memorizing of facts, but training your mind to think. And that one particularly is my philosophy also. Your job, the student's job here in the classroom, is training their mind to problem solving. How do they solve problem when they go out of the classroom? Then that's one. And I can talk on and on and on, but I think you have my point. So we use different strategies depending upon the framework that we follow and depending upon your philosophy as a teacher. Implement curriculum. How do we implement curriculum? Still, we are going to proceed with the different teaching strategies because that's how we implement curriculum. For example, in my class, I do not particularly have a routinized activity, you know. Ayoko ng routine na, for example, una, ganito, prayer, sunod ganyan, no. Sometimes I give students a surprise quiz or surprise exam for them to assess if they have learned their lesson previously. Another is I do post-its after class. And another is I am very much particular with the debate and argument for a specific philosophical point of view or standpoint. I am very fond of that one, argument. That's One, I also fond of using Socratic method of inquiry, wherein I pose a question and then you answer, and then I critique your answer, and then you critique my answer, and so on and so forth. That is to identify the loophole of your idea or your logic. Okay, that one. What else? Yeah, question and answer, field practice. Implementing curriculum. What's its importance? Well, that's our core. That's our soul and flesh. The curriculum is the purpose of the existence of the teacher to implement it. Okay? Without implementing it or not implementing it would be render your job as you are a useless teacher. That's your job, to implement the curriculum. So therefore, what's the importance of implementing it? The progress of the nation will depend upon your implementation of the curriculum. So, if your job as a teacher is just merely to have your salary at the end of the month without performing your duties, then the nation will go down. No? But we as a teacher, we are not into salaries. That's maybe a bonus on our part. But our main goal is to cure ignorance. And by curing ignorance, that's how you implement the curriculum. That the classroom is the safe haven for students, but not a punishment. That one. When you become teachers, and your teachers are already professional, because you implemented your curriculum, that's everything. So therefore, it compasses the totality of our profession. The importance of implementing the curriculum. One goal that we must teachers do is that learning never ends, and our job is to provide quality education for the teachers, because as the saying goes, we cannot teach what we do not have. Therefore, one of your activity must to continuously learning, because learning never stops, and continue updating your knowledge on a particular subject. And that one, you may attend seminar, you may proceed with your further schooling with your master's degree or doctorate degree. As of now, I'm schooling with my Juris Doctor, or for learning laws and particular regulations. What are the punishment of those things? So that we as professionals, we will be guided, because I'm handling subjects that requires the knowledge of law. So how are you going to teach the law to students if you have not inquired into it, if you do not know the core of the laws or the applications of the laws? So that's one. And another thing is, teachers are the very poker face of all the professions that we have. Why did I say that we are poker face? Because you cannot bring the problems at home to the school, and you cannot bring the problem at school to home. That even though you are broken inside and you are dying inside, when you face the classroom, you have to smile for your students, because if you are broken and your students let them see you that you're broken, that might affect their learning. So even though you are dying inside and you want to cry inside, but because your job is for your students to learn, you have to be happy in front of them. And that's a very difficult job to do. It's not easy. And you will master it when you are on the field. When you see your students learn how to read ABC, and it's because of you that they learn, they read, they understand, they are professionals, then that's the greatest reward. In higher education, that's not a problem anymore, because it is considered as you are not minors anymore. So therefore, your professors have different attitudes, and the attitude that we show is, although it's very important, but again, it does not really so important compared to the DepEd, because in DepEd, you are the role model of the students in all your actions, in all your clothings, in all you do. The students look up to you. But in tertiary education, in higher education, the attitude is not necessarily for everyone. Kasi it depends on the profession that you are teaching. For example, you are electrical major, okay? The teacher's job, for example, if he is handling if he's handling the major subject, is to teach the major, okay, as based on the CMO of the CHED, that a major teacher's job is to teach the major subject and not to implement anymore or delve anymore into the values formation, because other teachers' job is for that. For example, a student has a subject on values, then that's the subject that is in charge of molding the students into the proper behavior. So as for me, on my part, what's my job in the attitude of the students? Then it's difficult to say, because at this time they already have formed their attitudes. So their attitude is already structured, it's already formed. What I can do to them is by showing who I am. As long as you are not violating any laws and regulations or the morals or ethics, then you are good. That's the most important. Although sometimes we may teach things, for example, just to emphasize things, or you may use a dialogue, for example, the use of putang ina in the class, if you want to emphasize that for your subject. Kasi putang ina is, as you are Filipino majors, that's part of the slang or the balbal language. Then, it can be, it's not necessarily, so ganun lang siya. So long as you are not violating any laws or ethics or particular regulations or memorandum, then you are good in terms of your attitude.
Isinasaalang-alang ng mga guro tulad ni Ginoong Gabane ang mga bagay na dapat matutunan ng mga kabataan, kaya napakalagang trabaho ang pagpapatupad ng kurikulum. Ang guro ay hindi lang guro na nagtuturo ng isang asignatura sa araw-araw, hindi lang pagbabahagi ng kaalamang pang-edukasyon, kundi sila ay may tuturing na tagapagpatupad at katalista ng kurikulum.